All right, good day, everyone, and welcome to the session. Before we start with this one, we would like to say thank you for joining. Thank you for finding time to explore. Oh, music's coming back. To explore new topics and to learn more. We will be on this journey today together. And this session is going to be recorded. It will be available for you for on-demand watch, but maybe what you would like to do, or some of us, is log in anonymously by using the invitation link in private or incognito mode of your browser without signing in. And also, before we start with this session, I would like to do an acknowledgement of country. In the spirit of reconciliation, Microsoft acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. I am presenting or broadcasting today this session from the land of Gadigal people of Eora Nation and daily benefiting from it. Now, we are for this session using live event feature of Microsoft Teams, and it has a wonderful video player. You can find a control bar, similar looking like mine on my screen, somewhere on the bottom of your screen. It does have few options I would like to share with you. Taking a break whenever you want to try a feature, or maybe just simply refill a coffee or relax and have some rest from the session, please use that play and pause button in the bottom left corner. On the right hand side, in the bottom again, you will be able to turn on closed captions if you require or prefer. Then by clicking gear icon, there will be an option for you to adjust closed captions and also adjust playback speed and quality of video as well. You currently can see closed captions on my screen. These are generated by PowerPoint, but if you would like to keep them on for yourself throughout the session, please use that CC in rectangle. I will try to pronounce properly as much as I can, but English is my third language, but I'll try to do my best. Now, on the right-hand side, you also can notice the Q&A panel for questions and answers. Please utilize it to communicate with us throughout this session. The Q&A will be opened. Welcome everyone to PowerPoint level 100 session. Saying 100, we mean that this is introductory level. We don't assume any pre-existing knowledge. If you haven't used PowerPoint before or you don't feel comfortable creating new slides, this is the perfect session for you. If you have been using PowerPoint for some time, maybe you are savvy, I would still recommend you staying with us as there are some new features that have been recently released into the PowerPoint. So my name is Bilan. I'll be presenting this session. You already can see my screen and hear my voice. Your microphones and your cameras, they aren't involved into this session. It is my great pleasure to be presenting for Department of Education of South Australia. So welcome team, welcome back to the session. If you have any questions or expectations from this session about specific future, please let us know again through that Q&A. We will go through just a couple of slides and then we will explore navigation in PowerPoint. We'll discuss some design ideas in PowerPoint, ready to use ideas. And we will be building the presentation and preparing to present it as well throughout the session. So PowerPoint Design a feature that has been recently released uses artificial intelligence or AI to create rich suggestions based on the pictures in your presentation, charts, tables, maybe words that you used. You can start design idea just simply by giving a title to a presentation, and design idea will just suggest features with different pictures that you can choose from, different styles, fonts, layouts, and so more. When you do want to work on your presentation with help of your team, you can simply share that presentation, not just presentation, you can do the same with other documents within Microsoft 365 application. This can be shared with your team or with a certain people if you wish, using OneDrive for Business for individual sharing or SharePoint for sharing with team. And if you are worried about some specific changes you made, maybe some of the slides have been deleted by somebody. This happens when you share with team. That's a teamwork, but there is a version history for you to restore any of the pre-existed slides. Now, when the presentation is ready and you are ready to present it, maybe you'd like to take a minute to do a dry run, rehearse your timing, and PowerPoint actually can help you to record your timing as well and automate going through slides for you later. So PowerPoint can remember how long it takes for you for each slide and then skip through those. You can record narration as well, laser, highlighting, and more. There is also presenter coach that will give you a holistic feedback about your session, whether you used filler words or maybe the pace was too fast or monotonous, which is my constant feedback for me. I'm working on it, but my speech is still monotonous. Now, let me maybe just leave the presentation and open PowerPoint itself. We can find PowerPoint by clicking Start menu on our computer. We can search for it using the search bar here on the top and open it. If you would like to have it as I do on my screen in the home menu, once you find the PowerPoint, just maybe simply right click on it or just select to pin or unpin to your start menu. I'm going to open it. Let me maybe just bring it in. And also I will be using account of Megan Bourne today, which is a demo account only for demo purposes. Okay, now we are in the PowerPoint application. Let's explore how it works, at least the desktop application. The home button here on the top left corner will allow you to create a new PowerPoint from scratch by selecting blank. However, you also maybe want to use those really handy presentations that are recommended for you. You can find them in here as the templates or choose from themes. So in some organizations, you'll find suggested themes for your organization. By coming back to home button, we also can see here the documents that we have been using some time ago. We also can think about them as a suggested document as well. Recently used documents, or those maybe that you have pinned for easy access. So we can click pin and they will appear in the pin section, and presentations or presentations that have been shared with you by other people. They can be found in here as well. Okay. Now moving the mouse to the new button, from here we can choose again to create a new blank presentation or those templates. If you haven't explored them, would definitely recommend you exploring. They provide you with templates with the layouts dedicated to a specific to different topics. I would say not to a specific one, but you can easily change the titles, content, designs, colors, and so on. But maybe this will be also an inspiration for you as well as a template. Inspiration, sorry. Now moving the mouse to the open button, I can find all the locations available for me, including those that are in the cloud, like OneDrive for Business and SharePoint, but also my physical locations on this computer. It could be the PC storage itself or an external hard drive. Now, by moving mouse to the bottom, we're almost finished in this view. We can click the account and check, hey, which account are we using? Maybe just to ensure that you're using the right account you want to use. Maybe you do have a personal account, but also a work account. So this is something we want to do before we make changes. And we can check which cloud storages that we are connected to as well. Now let's go back to this new section or to the home and create just a blank presentation. So this is a blank presentation, but I do want to make sure that I save it in OneDrive for Business for a few reasons. First, if I do save, all the changes I make will be automatically saved in the cloud, but I also will be able to share this presentation with other people. Now, let me maybe move ahead to the top left corner. Click this button that says Autosave. Once I do, the PowerPoint app will ask me to save it in the cloud. Okay, let's select OneDrive. Give it a name, click OK. And once it saves in the cloud, the toggle will turn on automatically. And this means for me the changes are saved automatically and I don't have to click save anymore. Okay. It is magical because not just only it will save all the changes, but it also will allow you to see different version histories of my document. You can access the version histories of your document by selecting the drop down on the name and clicking version history. I do believe we have just one. We just created this presentation, but when there are available more, you can restore any of those as well. Let's close this panel. Now, another part of navigation. Oh, we already have design ideas here on the right-hand side, even with an empty slide. Amazing. Let's close this panel for now and explore what do we have on the top. So the ribbon. Whenever we are in any Microsoft 365 applications, the navigation in them will be within the ribbon. It's called, the whole top area is called ribbon, and it consists of a strip of labels and tabs, such as Home, for example, that contains the most frequently used tools, or Insert, when we want to add content, pictures, videos, or new slides, and so on. And more we draw, transitions, in between slides, animations, and so on. We'll touch some of them during this session today. Okay, now while we are on the home page, before we start creating the presentation, some of the additional things I would like to share would be with features in this top ribbon. If you're not quite sure what the feature does, just maybe hover the mouse and wait for a few seconds. It will give you the pop-up window with some suggestions, as well as the shortcuts that can help you. And by clicking Tell Me More, we can open the panel on the right-hand side that allows us to self-educate, watch maybe use cases for the future, and so on. Let me maybe click this one. We already have this first slide here on our screen, and this is an empty slide. It's usually a title slide. When you create a new slide, the layout will be title. PowerPoint understands that this is the very first slide. And although it says click to add a title for us here in the presentation, it is just a placeholder. It doesn't actually show anything on the left-hand side. It looks like the presentation doesn't contain anything. We can go ahead and give it a name or type a text. And once we do, this will be the text reflected. So for example, click to add subtitle isn't reflected into this thumbnail on the left-hand side. So it doesn't appear in our slide. To add a new slide, there are multiple ways or places we can go to. For example, we can click plus new here in the home ribbon, but also I would assume, you maybe would assume to find the same functionality in the insert. We can add new slide in here, or we can copy the existing slide too. Okay, let's go ahead and just come back to the home. And instead of adding a new slide, let's select the drop down and explore what we have in here. So this drop down will show you other layouts than just title slide. It can be title and content, or two contents, or just a blank slide as well. I'll select title and content. This is something that I use quite often myself. It has a nice consistent text box on the top for the title or name of the slide, and a box for content. So we can call it maybe a slide. Let's call it slide 1. So it has been added. And on the left-hand side, you also can find that the slide number 1 as a title is being reflected. Now, if I would like to add some more slides in between of the existing slides, or maybe even after, I can click at that place before creating a slide. This orange bar that we can see on my screen, it is tiny, but I hope you can see it. This just gives you a note or a hint of where the slide will be inserted. So if I click plus new now, let me maybe do the same. Title and content, here we go, on the top. So it being added before the slide number 1. Let's give it a name, slide 2. Now it looks like we have a slightly messy slides with regards of the numbers, and maybe we would like to rearrange them. So there are multiple ways we can do, but one I would suggest would be just simply clicking the mouse on the slide and then clicking and keeping it, or holding the mouse click and then moving the slide to the place where you would like to place it in. So as soon as I move it to in between slide number 1 and 2, okay, these slides give me some small space and I can let it go and the slide appears. Now we have the correct order of our slides. Sometimes when we work on slide for very long, creating colors, picking up fonts, maybe setting up backgrounds, since a lot of work have been done and you don't want to do the same again for the future slides, maybe what you want, or maybe what you want to try would be duplicating the slide or copying it. So if I, for example, would like to duplicate slide number 1, I would right click on it and choose duplicate slides. And the same slide appears for me right after this one. Okay, let's now move it to the bottom, change its name. So we have 4 slides in here, the title, slide number 1, 2, and 3. You also can see the numbers, rather real technical numbers here on the left-hand side in the navigation. And if you would like to make this navigation smaller or bigger, depending on what you are doing now, so if you're working on the details on the slide, maybe you need some more real estate for the slide itself. We can simply drag this vertical line and move it to the left and to the right using this double-headed arrow that we can see. In my case, it's purple. It will have the same color as your cursor does in Windows. So we can move it to the left to make thumbnails smaller. And deleting slides is also super easy. So if I don't need the title slide anymore, I can right click and choose to delete the slide. I also can go ahead and select these slides in multiple different ways. For example, I can keep the Control key on the keyboard pushed or hold it down and then select those slides that I would like to delete in such a way. Or we can also keep the Shift key, hold it down, and select the range of the slides. Now, once it's done, we can discard them by right-clicking and deleting, or using Delete key on your keyboard. Okay, so we are back to the very beginning. Just let me maybe have a look into the Q&A if we have any questions, and also have maybe a sip of the water. Okay, we have no questions in the Q&A, so we can go ahead and introduce the topic of our today's presentation. And we'll be working on this presentation consistently now. So I will go ahead and just add a new slide. It's again the same title slide. For training purpose today, we'll just use something very generic or general and important topic. Let's call it sustainability presentation. Okay, I don't need this box anymore. I can delete the box if I want to. And also, we do have quite a lot of choices to change the style of this box as well. So if I select it as a shape, the text box, now I can see that there's a contextual menu here on the top, or dynamic menu, dynamic tab. It's not always there. If we unselect and focus on something else, like a background of the slide, the menu just disappears. Let's just open it again. The tab is in here, shape, format, and now I can go ahead and change colors, styles, the font size, the text fill, and so on. Maybe change the shape fill in such a way. But I would like to make it bold, italic. This can be done in here by right-clicking. You also can find these options in the Home tab as well as in other applications. Right in the Home tab, let's make it maybe italic and bold and strike through if, let's say, it's a mistake or error. But we also can find here bullet list, numbered list. We can increase or decrease an intention and so on, or align text too. So the slide is looking a little bit bare at the moment and not much creative juices flowing when it comes to the design um, in this view, but we can actually utilize design, which we'll be doing a little bit later today. Okay. So I would go ahead now and create maybe one more slide using the same new slide button on the top and the title and content. And we can give it a name to the slide. So let's say it's something like ideas for sustainability. We'll try to keep it simple because in modern way or in modern presentations, the best PowerPoint presentation will be the one that conveys the story or the message with as few words as possible. There's even a rule saying that you can have as many words on your slide, as many you can have on a t-shirt. I don't remember how the rule is called, but there is kind of a rule that the text should be kept very concise in the slide. One of the reasons being that people will find it difficult to read a lot of text and numbers, but also a lot of text can distract from the point you're trying to make as a presenter. So while you speak about it. So what we will do now is we'll just add bullet points. Let's say we'd like to upgrade packaging in the business. Maybe use more chemical-free cleaning products when it's possible. Energy efficiency could be another topic. And instead of paper receipts, we can maybe make digital invoices. Okay, we typed 4 ideas. They are already a bullet list, but we actually can change them if you want to, as well as change the icon by using the bullet list here on the top. We can make it a numbered list if we wish, and so on. A few options. But typing isn't always the best or the easiest way for you to ideate, because you automatically start correcting yourself. But also it can be a little bit time consuming. Another way to bring in text or ideas to the slide would be using the handy feature called dictate. So the dictate feature or function lets you use the speech text technology and convert what you say into the text. You will need to be connected to internet in order to use it. And also it doesn't pick up the punctuation automatically, so we will have to verbalize punctuation. But the feature is available in other Microsoft 365 applications too, such as Microsoft Word, for example. So let me maybe try the feature by clicking on it. And there are actually multiple languages as well. So let's click dictate. Eliminate plastic waste. Full stop. As you can see, it first typed full stop, and then it converted the full stop to the dot itself. Okay. So dictation functionality is amazing. If you haven't used it, it is really great, and I would recommend you doing so, specifically when you just want to ideate or think and in a free form. All right, we have bullet points on our slide number 2. And maybe this time I also would like to add some timing to these actions. So as a manager, it is important to make my goals measurable and time limited or time specific. We just copied the existing presentation, so I don't have to type it again. By right-clicking, duplicate, we're using it now, and we can start typing dates. So let's say it will be 1st of December, 2021. We'll start updating our packaging, 15th of December, 21, and so on. I'll just add a few more dates. I'm wondering if PowerPoint has design ideas. I'm sure it does, but I'm wondering how do they look like? Okay, 1st of January. Looks like we do have quite a lot of things to do. Megan does. Okay, and the first activity, let's say it will be 19th of January. Eliminate plastic waste, and these actions rather look like a timeline. So, timeline of sustainability actions. Okay, great. We have 3 slides. They do look rather empty and bare, I would say, and boring, but we will bring some light and juice to it just in a minute. I'm wondering if we did get any questions in the Q&A. Let me maybe have another look. Looks like there aren't any questions. So we can come back to the presentation then. Okay. So in the next section, we will just explore the design ideas. And one of the things maybe I want to do is bring in a picture to my presentation. So, and maybe to the first slide to grasp maybe attention. I'll move the title to the top, and I can start adding pictures in multiple different ways. And when inserting anything or bringing in any content, we do usually do it through the Insert tab, but there are other options or other places as well we can do it. The first thing, the picture I would like to add can be found here on the top. By selecting pictures icon in the drop down, you can find 3 different options. The first one from this device enables us to use the photo from our computer, something maybe you have downloaded or maybe the pictures that you have taken yourself. You also can use the option of stock images. Really handy if you don't have access to royalty-free images, which often does require some kind of subscription. Then you can always use, or you can always find access to a wide range of stock-free images from Microsoft 365. And we can use the search bar as well. In the third option, we can use the Bing search bar to find images. Let's maybe try stock images. Sustainability. Looks like stock images don't have any picture with this keyword. Let me maybe come back and use the Bing search bar or online pictures. Here we go. Quite a lot of different functions. Some of them can require some kind of licensing, so please be cautious. But I can use it now. Click Insert. The picture is being added. And the design section or the design pane on the right-hand side opens automatically for me. I could open it myself within the design tab here on the top, but it's already here. So let's have a look. What are those design ideas? And I am, believe me, not a designer in any means or by any means. I do have just one fashion rule, I think. It's called one color per item and no patterns. But the PowerPoint saves us here, and we can go ahead and choose from anything that we do actually like. And I really enjoy these presentations myself, or the suggestions from designer, and have been using them. Okay, let's choose maybe this one. And then we can readjust it to our ideas of beauty. Okay, slightly move the text. Additionally to the pictures, we also maybe want to bring in some icons as well. This can be done also in the insert. Icons provide you with short and minimalistic maybe depiction of the idea you would like to share. And also on the right-hand side, you already can see that there are some suggestions from designer as well. I can choose one of it. Let's go maybe for one of the first ones, this one. So with icons, let's come back to the icons. We can find them in the Insert tab as well by clicking icons on the top. Let's actually try to find something specific. Energy, for example. Okay, this icon looks sustainable for me. I can bring in some more by selecting them, clicking Insert. They will be added to the slide, and from now I can go ahead and just move them. Let's just move them one by one. We normally would put them somewhere here on the left-hand side of the point that we are trying to make. And if the color doesn't work for you, they are by default white or black. You can actually change the color as well by clicking on the icon. We now again have these dynamic or contextual menu in here. And we can change color. Let's make it maybe green. The same for the rest of the icons as well. Okay, and it's done. Now, not just only design ideas can detect pictures and words, but also can detect dates as well. So in our slide number 3, we have specific dates that we used, and making a chart with timeline for myself probably would take a long time, but I can try to utilize design ideas for this purpose too. So we are on the slide number 3 with dates. Let's click design ideas and check if it does detect timeline. All right, great. So we have quite a few different options. I think each of those are more visually pleasing than what I had on my screen. So I just had bullet lists. And I definitely would not be able to come up with this or with this one if something is rather like step-by-step process. But we can leave it. Let's choose just maybe one of these options. Let's say maybe this one. Or maybe this one or this one. Okay. We have a few choices. As you can see, I'm definitely lost trying to choose. I actually like them all. This one even better. Maybe we can actually keep this last choice. Very colorful, consistent with the slide number 1. Okay. Few more other things we can do with this design is we can draw actually something ourselves if we want to, using the Draw tab here on the top. We can just draw. If you have a pen or compatible device with pen, maybe you'd like to draw some shapes yourself. Not only can you draw them, but you actually can use this ink to shape option, which will convert your imperfect triangles or ovals or circles to perfect ones. Okay, now that we have few slides available for us, it is important to think how we would like to transition between them. So let's open the Transitions tab. There are a few suggestions maybe I would make myself with some experience of making presentations and presenting, is either using when you aren't sure which transition you would like to use, and when you aren't sure about the audience you will be presenting for, of their preferences or ages maybe, and so on. Maybe try to use known transitions or a simple ones like fade. So if we click fade, this will slightly make your slide appearing. So it looks softer when you're watching presentation, and you can make it even softer, changing duration here in the top right corner. Now, if you would like to make this decision automatically, this can be applied by using the advanced slide section. Let's say it's automatically goes to the next slide after first minute or 30 seconds. Or we can tick the box on mouse click. This way we'll have to tick or click the mouse to move to the next slide. One of my favorite transitions would be the morph transition. And to showcase how it works, let me maybe just duplicate this timeline slide. And what I would like to do is, while I am presenting to the audience, I would like to focus on a specific point. So while I'm speaking about December 2021, upgrade packaging, maybe this is something I would like to zoom on. So what I can do on my next slide is select this timeline, drag its corner, and make it bigger. It is quite okay if your picture goes outside of the borders of the presentation. There isn't a big problem with it. I keep it this way. And now if I apply a morph, look how beautiful the transition is. It just takes me from slide number 3 to slide number 1. And let's just play it one more time. Preview button is here for us to check how the animations and transitions work. So it just zooms in a specific point that I'm trying to make. And similar way, if I duplicate the slide again, and I would like maybe to move to the next topic, maybe this one doesn't perfectly work for me as it just overlaps with title. So I would probably remove the title itself. Oh, apologies. I'm messing around here with presentation. Not my favorite thing to do. So let's remove the sustainability action timeline title and bring in the timeline itself. I'll just make it somewhere in here. Not sure it will be perfect, but okay. But let's have a look. It looks like I also have deleted the background picture. It's not a big problem for us now. Let's click morph. Here we go. Doesn't look like a problem. So this will be our transitions from slide to slide. Click preview. We are zooming in. Click preview again. And we are zooming to the next talking point as well. Okay, so imagine the presentation is already having just a background does me actually make really uncomfortable. So I'll go ahead and fix it, bring back the picture by copying the same slide number 4, and making slide number 5. This time I am removing the text with title and all right, moving the timeline as I wish it to be. It already has morph transition applied. So the transitions, once again, they define how your slides will move from one another. Okay, review. So while I'm zooming in, we're now going to the next talking point, which is the chemical-free cleaning, and so on. Okay, let's leave this view. And we were about to present this presentation. So I was actually in the presenting view. But before we get to the presenting, some really important things to share, maybe a handy tools to share with somebody who is presenting. So one of those would be using notes for your presentation. So I want to show you them because they are quite a magical, I would say, feature, and they are really helpful. So you can use them within PowerPoint. These notes can be individual for every slide. Not only can you type those notes, you also can just record them as well. So imagine you would like to quickly talk through the slide yourself without writing it. We can use the dictate function again and say something like on the slide number 4, when we speak about upgrading packaging, I can click dictate and type and dictate. We are moving from plastic bags to paper bags for all products except for vacuums, as well as still awaiting confirmation for the extra large bags availability. Maybe this will be my notes or talking, the words I would like to share, or could be also just a bullet list you would like to list. Let's go to the next one, chemical cleaning. We are purchasing more efficient and more eco-friendly products for cleaning needs. Okay. Quite a vague action, the way I describe it, and I would suggest adding some more details and maybe names of the brands and so on. But for training purposes, we can see how do we add those notes. You also can type them, of course. Point I want to make, point 1, point 2, and so on. And they will help you to keep on track when you get lost, specifically if somebody asks you a question in the middle or interrupts you somehow. These bullet points and the notes will make it much easier for you to come back to the topic, to the speech or the idea you were sharing. Now, so the slides are ready and we are ready to present. Maybe last thing I wanted to share with you would be coming back to the design section and exploring these themes that you maybe want to apply. Something like with this integral, for example, this will change your presentation. You still have ideas for each slide on the right-hand side. We can apply them. Let's just do it. Looks like this one will be in a very different style. This is just because I do have background pictures. But there are ways for us to play. We can replace this background picture if we want. We can go ahead and make this background picture of a certain color as well by clicking Format Background. Here we go. Once you select a specific theme, you also can choose variants of that theme as well. Let me maybe just create a new slide to demonstrate it better. Come back to design. We can choose a theme, which will define the colors, the backgrounds, fonts, and so on. Then we can, if you like the theme, but you're not sure about the colors, maybe you would like to explore variants of that theme. Click drop down, change a color scheme. So you can change it by moving the mouse. You can customize color schemes if you wish. And also something I wasn't aware myself about is the slides. Not only can we have the standard and widescreen slides, but you can create a custom slides as well. So in my case, when I was traveling and giving presentation for different subsidiaries of a big company, not always would I have the same screen size or even proportions of the screen. So this could be really handy for me. So imagine going to the different schools for the different white wall, I guess, and maybe you'd like to change or adapt the proportions of your slides as well. But okay, let's delete this slide by right-clicking on it. And we will talk about the presenter view just right now. And I'm having a look into the Q&A again, in case we have any questions. Looks like there aren't any questions yet. So when you are ready to start presenting, or when you are ready to prepare for your presentation, I would recommend you using the different tools that are being inbuilt into the PowerPoint. The first one, when we are rehearsing from beginning, we'll start your presentation from the very, very first slide. I can click Escape now again. Or if you are wanting to start with a certain slide, we can move to that slide and click From Current Slide, and so on. But also, when rehearsing, maybe try utilizing or exploring these features that can record your slide with narrations, drawings that you make, also with timing. So once you record your presentation, the PowerPoint presentation will remember how much time it took for you for each slide, and the slides can move from one another automatically. There's also for you a presenter view, which means that when you are presenting, you can have your notes available for you. So what usually happens when we click, let's say from beginning, we'll only see the screen. But if you are using presenter view, on the other screen, if you have two of those, let me maybe bring it in, you'll see your presentation in this view. What we can see here now, and again, it requires two monitors, but now on the left-hand side in the top, we can see the timing of our presentation. So we started presenting this one 25 seconds ago. On the right-hand side, we can see the actual timing, what time is now. Really handy when you have a specific time when you need to finish presenting or hand over to the next presenter. Also on the right-hand side, I can find the list of the upcoming or the next upcoming slide as well. Okay, I can click on it and just move to it. I also can use these arrows here on the bottom to navigate in my presentation. Now for the notes that we did take before, if I start scrolling, I can see them in here in the notes section in the bottom right corner. Here we go. Sometimes you might find that there isn't much information or much space for your notes. What we can do, we can drag this horizontal line and move it top or bottom in order to change the size and change proportions of the real estate. Maybe we need some more real estate for the nodes. And the same can be done with this vertical line as well. To a certain degree, we can change proportions too. Okay. Sometimes you need to narrate or maybe just bring attention to a specific place in your presentation. And we can use for those features like pen or highlighter or a laser pointer. This is what will the audience see on their screen. You can switch it off as well. If you do write something on your screen, like so, we can always remove it as well or erase all the inks from your screen too. Now, having just one slide on the right-hand side, one next slide on the right-hand side is really handy and allows you to build a segue from one slide to another. But sometimes you also need to see the bird view on your slides. For those reasons, we can use this grid view and see all slides. Not only can we see them, we actually can jump to a certain slide as well. Maybe I would like to come back to slide number 2 or open slide, the very first one, number 1, if I need to start again the presentation. When we are speaking about a certain point in your presentation, another way for you to focus would be zooming in using this magnifier icon. We can zoom in to a certain section of your presentation and then zoom out. And if you wanted to take more time to speak about it, without distracting your audience to the screen, you can just switch off the presentation and they only will see the black screen, basically nothing on the screen, which will allow you to grab some more attention to yourself or to the points you're trying to make. Then once the break is done, we can bring the presentation back. If you are presenting for a large audience and maybe not everyone can hear you, and also if you are presenting from remote using applications like Teams, for example, maybe you'd like to turn on closed captions. Not only can you use those closed captions that are auto-generated using artificial intelligence in real time, but by clicking ellipses, you will be able to change language of those closed captions as well. Okay, the ellipses you can see on the screen, and they are available in many applications from Microsoft, and they always provide you with some more tools. Now, let me maybe zoom out to finish this presentation and the slideshow. Now, one of the last things we'll be discussing today is how do we collaborate with team when you need somebody's suggestions or somebody's inputs into the presentation. You maybe want to share this presentation with them to collaborate. We can do so right within this document itself by clicking Share button here on the top right corner. And again, please remember that we need to keep this file in the cloud, in OneDrive for Business or in SharePoint in order to collaborate or share. So let's click Share. We have this nice pop-up window. Let me maybe also zoom in. So first thing we can see on the screen says anyone with the link can edit. This means anyone in the world, if they receive the link, will be able to make changes. So imagine I send this link to my colleague Ben, and Ben sends to his friend from university, and that friend sends to someone else. Then all those people will be able to work on my document if they receive the link. For myself in Microsoft, this option is grayed out, so I don't have an option anyone with the link. But by clicking on this option, I can see another ones that are available for me. So people in your organization with the link will allow anyone within my organization, when they receive the link, to open it. If I would like to narrow the audience, I can choose specific people and then type their names or emails. Depending on the option you select, there will be some additional choices you can make. For example, if I'm choosing to share with specific people, would I like them to make changes? I can untick the box. I don't allow editing, but I also don't want them to make a copy of my presentation as well, or bring it back. If I choose people in your organization, the choices are similar, but for anyone with the link, we can set up expiration date for the link and also set maybe a password as well. The expiration link will delete the link after a certain time, on a certain date, let's say on the 7th of November, the link will stop working. So whoever clicks it, the link will not work for them. But also we can add some layer of protection by setting up a password as well. Okay. The safest way to use the share, from my perspective, would be using specific people. We can allow editing because we are expecting them to make changes. Now that we have selected that we would like to share with certain people, we can start typing their names as well. Okay. So this link will work for Adele and Nesta. And I can deliver this link in many different ways by just using the link, copy link option, by sending rather a formal Outlook email, or by simply clicking send. Whichever option I choose. Anyway, Adele and Nesta would receive an email that they now do have an access. Let's copy the link. So the link is ready. We can go ahead and share it, send it through chat or Teams, and so on. But now, once Adele and Nesta have access to this presentation, they can join me. And once they do, I can see actually that they are in this presentation by the icons here on the top right corner. In any Microsoft 365 application or documents, when somebody joins your document or this shared document that belongs to your team, you'll be able to see the small circular profile icons on the top right corner of your screen. It works for all the applications like Word or Excel. You not only can see the picture, but you also can click on the icon and move to a specific slide or page on the document that they are working on. The changes those people will be making, they will be automatically reflected for Megan, and the same works vice versa. So if I delete this slide, Nesta and Adele would be able to instantly see that the slide has been deleted. To communicate about our work, of course, we can use calls in Teams or chats maybe, but we also can use comments, specifically if you're not working on the same time. Let's say you are in a different time zones, or maybe you're sending this presentation for review or you're reviewing it yourself. We can click comments tab on the top, open this comments panel, and then start commenting on the certain slides. Something like, can you please change the background picture for this slide, and so on. We actually can add mention the person as well using add. It will work as tagging. You can click OK, and Adele would receive email that she has been add mentioned in this document with the link to the document itself. Now, if Adele comes and makes those changes, and we do actually enjoy all of them, except maybe that a certain slide was deleted from the presentation, then we can restore that slide easily by heading to the version history, by clicking the name. We'll be able to see the version history of this presentation and choose it from here. Let's say the second version. Usually it would say different dates, but we have just created this presentation today. We can click any of the versions. Let's just open them. It tells you, gives you a hint that this is a previous version. You can restore it if you want, and we currently have just 2 slides, but maybe I want to bring back this one. Okay, I either can copy this slide and just bring it in as just individual slide, or I can restore the whole presentation. So if I click restore now, this will be the current version of that presentation. There we go. Let's just bring it back. And when Adele and Nesta will click the link next time, they will be brought to this version. Okay. If the same can be done in reverse, we can restore the latest version back by clicking the name. Let's go ahead and restore the one that we had with all these nice changes and transitions. Click restore. And it's done. So the presentation is ready. We did get quite a lot of feedback. We also rehearsed a little bit ourselves, or at least we aligned the timing using the rehearsal timing. One of the things maybe you'd like to do as well is use the rehearse coach or the presenter coach. What this does is it analyzes your speech. It gives you a holistic feedback. Let me maybe just click it, start rehearsing. Timeline of sustainability actions. We will upgrade packaging, and then in December, we will be free of chemicals in our cleaning services. Then we will switch to digital invoices and not sure. Done. As you can see, the presenter coach shows you the filler words that you use. And if I leave this view now, it won't give me an instant feedback. The feedback about the speed looks like we are in the right pace. If you use some uninclusive words, those will be highlighted here as well. And as I mentioned in the beginning, my speech is monotone, and this is again the feedback I'm getting. I am practicing, but the progress is quite slow. Okay, that's it from me. I will come back to the presentation deck I had as we conclude today's training. The next steps after this session would be, that we would recommend, would be trying your PowerPoint, try the features that we have showcased today. If you need any help, head to support.microsoft.com/PowerPoint. There will be dozens of materials that you can explore, and as articles or videos as well. And we do have ample time left, or maybe just 3 minutes. And myself and the team, the training team in Sydney, would really appreciate if you could provide us feedback about this session and share with us what did you enjoy, if you did anything, and what you would suggest us to change in the future for future sessions. Speaking about future, there will be a way for you to let us know which topics you would like to visit next or explore next. And the session itself was recorded for you. You will be able to watch it on demand during the next 6 months. The survey link you can see on the screen, or the QR code, is absolutely anonymous and provides you with the opportunity to share what you would like to visit in the next. That's all for me. Thanks everyone for joining. It looks like we have no questions in the Q&A. Just thank you. Thank you very much for joining as well. I will wrap up 2 minutes earlier. Hopefully this will be a great break for you before the next session starts. I wish you to have a wonderful rest of the week and excellence in all of your future presentations. Thank you and bye for now.